Why do coins have ridges? I mean, think about it. It's a part of coins we don't usually pay a lot of attention to, and considering coins are made in the many billions every year, manufacturing billions of anything demands a substantial amount of energy and resources. So why go through all the work to put ridges on coins? Nowadays, they actually serve a few purposes. They serve as a tactile cue that helps blind people tell one denomination from the other. They add an extra degree of complexity to the coin that makes counterfeiting them harder, and they make the coins prettier. After all, coins are yet another national symbol, so its appearance shouldn't be taken lightly. At least that's the theory. I've been seeing some butt ugly coin designs nowadays. However, there was another historical reason that is much cooler as to why coins have ridges. So let's explore it today. You see, nowadays our coins don't have any precious metal content in them, but we are the ones living an anomalous time in that regard. For millennia, most coins were made out of precious metals. So one day, quite likely a few days after coins were first invented, someone had an idea. What if I cut just a little bit of precious metal from the edge of a coin that comes to my possession? I keep these bits of gold and silver for myself, and I pass the coin onwards, put it back in circulation. No one would notice. After all, it's just a tiny bit of metal, and after doing this for a little while, I might have a small pile of precious metals for myself, which I can sell for a profit. That's genius. Free money. This was called coin clipping. Whoever came up with this idea was, well, maybe someone morally questionable, but at least he was smart. Because here's the thing. Most markets throughout history didn't transact coins based on just its metal weight. Coins circulated by their face value. Let me explain what I mean with an example. Let's say you are in ancient Rome. The most common coin made out of precious metal was the silver denarius. For a very long time, a denarius was around 3.4 modern grams of silver, but people did not transact them as 3.4 grams of silver. They priced things in terms of the denomination of the time, like this thing is worth 1 denarius, 2 denarii, 5 denarii. Some denarii had 3.3 grams of silver in them, others had 3.5, but the point is that they were all worth the same. They were worth 1 denarius. And that's where the magic happens. Let's say you do a very gentle cut on every denarius that crosses your path. 0.1 grams of silver, a slither of it. No one will notice. Well, after you've done this with 34 coins, you've accumulated enough silver to make an entire new denarius for yourself. You could then, melt down all of that silver and shape it into a little ingot, so no one would notice you did this, and you could sell that extra silver you had, for example, to a jeweler, take it to the mint or to a money changer, and exchange it for a coin. Kinda scummy, but genius. No one noticed you were scamming the system, and you made a profit. Coin clipping was particularly widespread during the Middle Ages. If you ever handled a medieval coin, you will notice they're super thin, and that made it very easy to clip these coins without people noticing. The majority of coins that were in circulation in England, for example, had some kind of clipping done to them, despite attempts of preventing it being implemented. Coins such as the long cross issues of Henry III or Edward I were designed with coin clipping in mind. Their design tried to prevent it. The coin design features this long cross on the reverse that went all the way to the very tip of the design, and around the circumference of the coin, at the area of the rim, there was a beading, a circle made out of little pellets that was supposed to mark the outer limits of the coin. The legends at the edge were also arranged in a way that they were nearly touching the outer beading. So it means that this area around the rim of the coin was very visually cluttered, meaning any kind of cutting into this area would quickly be noticed, and this would denounce the coin as having been clipped. The idea is actually quite smart, but it didn't work that well in practice. Coins were struck by hand, so most had some sort of misalignment between the design imprinted on the flan and the actual circumference of the flan of the planchet, leading to some extra metal outside of that beading that could be clipped. And also many clipped coins are found, indicating coin clippers probably just didn't care about people noticing the cut edges and they just cut it and passed it on. And today's video is brought to you by L5, the new ancient coin marketplace. L5 is a platform developed by coin collectors for coin collectors. It offers the lowest transaction fees on the market, from 5% down to 0. No listing fees or undisclosed reserve prices, and you can choose between buying and selling coins through its auctions or its fixed price lists. The most important idea behind L5 is generating an environment of trust between people. You can buy, you can sell, you can do both if you want to, all within a system of transparency and accountability between its users and the platform. Apart from a lifetime guarantee of authenticity in case any coin sold on L5 turns out to be a counterfeit, the platform works with a group of renowned experts on different fields of ancient numismatics and a body of expert moderators, with the objective of creating an environment of high trust where every single coin is reviewed by more than one person and curated by an input from the community. I think their concept of collaborative accountability, low fees, and transparency is a revolution to the ancient coin market, and I can't recommend the L5 enough. Give them a look. I personally think this is a wonderful concept that the ancient coin market was in need for. Visit l5.com. Now, of course, this was a major crime. The whole concept of making coins was that the state, in exchange for having an exclusive right of issuing money in a territory and extracting some profit from this activity, would in turn have the obligation of maintaining a monetary system in this territory. This was supposed to make people's lives easier, as they could trade with a well-defined system of denominations, and each denomination was supposed to be of a certain size and a certain weight, a certain precious metal content. And of course, the state was responsible for maintaining that consistency. Therefore, tampering with a coin, effectively a property of the state, for personal gain was considered analogous to treason, and the death sentence was generally applied to anyone caught clipping coins. But it was really hard to catch anyone clipping coins. It's not like people would do it in broad daylight, you know? A brilliant solution was developed in the late 17th century by Sir Isaac Newton. He worked as the mint master of the London Mint. What he did was to phase out the outdated handmade hammered coins and replace them with mechanically struck coinage. His stroke of genius, though, was in the introduction of an extra step in the minting process that added ridges to the rim of coins. The earliest methods consisted of rolling the coins between two flat, incised rails. I'm adding a few images on your screen so you can visualize the process and how the machine worked. Basically, the coin would roll along these two dice, these flat dice, full of indentations, adding the series of small marks on the ridges of the coins. With this technique, there wasn't a single part of the coin's rim that didn't have some kind of visual mark, meaning any tiny little attempt at clipping would be immediately apparent, solving the issue because otherwise people would see it and the coin wouldn't be fit for circulation. This approach to the problem was so successful that it became a convention throughout the planet. Even though most circulating coins today contain no precious metal, most coins, with the exception of maybe the lowest of denominations, they still have ridge marks. The method for making these ridges today is a little bit different. It uses a collar rather than two flat dies in a rolling motion, so this collar is placed around the blank at the time of the striking, so it makes the minting process a little bit quicker, and it doubles as a tool that ensures all coins remain perfectly round when they are struck. Now, as a bit of a curiosity, coin clipping wasn't always exclusively made by shady individuals. There was at least one case of it being done by state authorities. In 410 AD, Emperor Honorius, in an attempt to hold on to more easily manageable chunks of the Roman Empire, he withdrew his troops from the island of Britain and told the cities of the island to look for their own defense. All of a sudden, the whole entourage of Roman officials, troops, supplies, and crucially new coins made in continental mints stopped reaching the island. That meant they either had to make do with the supply of coins they already had or find a way to produce their own. What we see in the archaeological record of the time is that starting in the 410s, 420s, the vast majority of silver coins found on the island start being clipped. Some are clipped very heavily, with only the portrait of the emperor remaining visible and the legends around it being completely chipped off. The Hoxne hoard found in Suffolk in 1992 is a wonderful example of this time. From the types of the coins contained in this treasure, it must have been buried shortly after the Roman withdrawal. It contained over 14,000 silver siliquites, a massive hoard, and over 80% of these coins have been clipped. Earlier siliqua from before the withdrawal are sometimes found intact. Of course, many that were in circulation at the time were also clipped, but this seems to indicate a very sudden edict of official clipping that was enacted by the authorities over the people. And that's the point, the consistency in the fact that the vast majority of the coins were clipped and the amount of clipping that was done was also very consistent, indicates this was something probably enacted by a government rather than just illegal activity. Most clipped coins cluster around the 1 gram mark, while the unclipped pieces were supposed to weigh around 1.3 grams. One interpretation for this phenomenon is that a local monetary reform was enacted, increasing the value of silver and thus increasing the amount of individual siliqua in circulation. Another explanation could be that the clipping was done as an emergency taxation, a quick way to harvest silver from each coin to raise enough funds for the defense of Britain. Both of these explanations are still in the realm of theory, and that's actually one of the most interesting numismatic mysteries yet to be solved. I personally think the second theory is the most plausible explanation, because Britain was about to suffer a series of invasions. They knew the situation was very serious, and there was a feeling of desperation in the island. And the Britons would indeed, after a few decades, fall, leading to a final collapse of the Romano-British government on the island, which would plunge Britannia in a dark age and devolve the economy to barter. It would take a good 2 to 3 centuries for the use of coins and commerce to pick up again. I actually want to read from you which one of these two theories you think is the most plausible. So, there you have it. Now you have the full answer of why coins have ridges. Yes, the super short version is to simply prevent coin clipping, but the whys and hows of coin clipping are what makes this monetary phenomena really interesting. So, what do you think? Let me read what you have to say in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like and consider subscribing if you did. Happy collecting, and I'll see you soon. Let me give a special thank you to all of my amazing channel members and Patreons for their generous support. This channel would not be the same without your help. And if you would like to be part of this list, have early access to my videos when they are uploaded to YouTube, and a series of other perks, make sure to check out my Patreon page and my members tab on YouTube. Thank you very much.